All right, want to save on your holiday travel? We've got some insider secrets and how college students can get $25 flights. Yeah, you actually heard me right. The murder of a United Healthcare CEO shining a new light on insurance claim denials, but most people don't even appeal them. An expert shows us how to turn a denial into a paid claim. President-elect Trump is threatening tariffs on many imported goods. How much more could you pay? And how it's already impacting car buying. And is TikTok about to be banned in the U.S.? What the latest ruling means for the app and for you. And welcome to Dollars and Cents. Thanks so much for joining us. I'm your host, Heather Sullivan. Now, I was just in the store the other day, and a woman who was helping me said, I don't know why they say this is the most wonderful time of the year. She says it's the most expensive time of the year. So if that's you as well, I want you to sit back and relax. We are here to help. So first, here's a big tip to help cut costs on airfare for college students. Amazon is offering flights for just $25. Amazon and Student Universe, which is a discount travel company for young adults, they're partnering for a second year to offer these $25 flights during the holidays to 5,000 young adults. You must be 18 to 24, and you need to have the Amazon for Young Adults membership. Now, that's formerly the Amazon Prime student membership, and it costs about $7.50 a month. Students can redeem those flights at amazon.com/25flights. And this fall, you know, the Department of Transportation started requiring airlines to provide you automatic refunds when your flight is canceled or significantly delayed. Well, now they're proposing that airlines also cover you for any extra costs between $200 and $800 for things like hotel stays and food if the airline is responsible for causing that delay or cancellation. The rule could also expand rebooking policies for passengers on other carriers. So we will let you know if this rule does in fact come to pass. And while we are talking about travel, did you know that it's actually possible to splurge a little bit on some travel to actually save money in the long run? Yeah, it's all about using rewards the right way. So Steve Genevieve with Fox 5 in D.C. talks with a travel expert about how you can save money on your next trip.
We're chatting now with travel rewards expert Sally French about saving or splurging during airline travel. So let's get right into it. First of all, Sally, it's good to see you this morning. Good morning.
Good morning. Great to see you.
It's always good to talk travel, and it's always good to talk savings when it comes to travel. Sometimes we need to splurge a little bit to get the advantage. So that's one of the big questions, right? So when we first do the booking, if we're doing an airplane flight, do we take advantage of any of those offers? They always say, hey, do you want a seat upgrade? Is that a good idea or not?
Yeah, I mean, it really depends on the nature of your trip. If you're going on a short trip, you probably don't need that extra legroom, but sometimes during the holidays, it's worth it.
I can say this from firsthand example, and you let me know what you find and where the trends are now. There have been times where I've said there's no way that I'm doing it, especially if you're talking about the expense for business class or first class, right? But maybe extra seat room or leg room. By the time I book the initial flight, pay to have my seat assignment, pay for the baggage fee if I have to check my bags, sometimes it is almost a wash when it comes to just paying for something that would include all of that in the first place.
That's exactly right. Typically, people get seduced by basic economy airfares. This is something where you might see a really great deal, a $59 flight maybe, but then once you add in the checked bag, the seat selection, you want to upgrade to more legroom, then it becomes sometimes more than that standard economy seat. So just understand before booking what's actually included, because when you add up all the extra prices, it might not necessarily be cheaper.
Yeah, and I'll tell you what, I saw one thing this morning and it said, you know, it was a great price on an airfare, but it said like, you know, ultra economy, which tells me there's going to be add-on fees. Now, the other question that I have with that is a lot of times the cheapest fare, you don't have a seat assignment. Maybe it's good if you're traveling by yourself. If you're traveling with other people, is that a good idea, or should we spend up in that scenario?
This is something that's really confusing for travelers. A lot of people think, I didn't get a seat assignment, so I don't have a seat. I need to pay for this. You don't need to pay for the seat assignment. You only need to pay for it if you want to guarantee a certain seat. I travel with friends, with my family, and sometimes I prefer to not sit next to them, and I intentionally don't pay to book that seat. One thing to note is if you are a parent traveling with a child, most airlines let you board early and choose that seat next to your child, whether or not you actually paid for that seat assignment.
First of all, I respect the alone time on a flight. Sometimes you just need it. It's your escape for a couple of hours, right? Let's talk about saving when it comes to food and snacks, because we've all been there. You get to the airport and you go in the store that has all the magazines and everything else, and you walk out with a snack and like $30 out of your wallet. How can we save money here?
Exactly right. NerdWallet always recommends packing snacks in advance. Your peanuts that you bought at the grocery store are going to be cheaper than the peanuts at the airport. This becomes difficult when you want beverages, as most people know you cannot bring full beverages through airport security. Now, here is one hack, and that's to consider airport lounges. Now, many of these lounges have day pass fees. They can be $70 or $80, but if you can get that full meal out of it, if you have a layover, you want to take that shower, sometimes these can be worth it. Also, you can use credit cards to sometimes gain lounge access. Many premium travel credit cards offer lounge access as a benefit simply for holding the card.
Yeah, it all comes down to what works best for you. And I found myself in that scenario. As a matter of fact, at one point, I went with the credit card for that opportunity because maybe it was $100 for the annual fee, but if I visited the lounge twice in that year, it paid for itself, and I wasn't buying anything at the airport. So I guess do a little research there. Any other tips you want to pass along this holiday season?
Just come early to airports. We just passed the Thanksgiving holiday, and actually the Sunday after Thanksgiving, TSA screened a record number of people. More than 3 million people went through TSA screening checkpoints on the Sunday after Thanksgiving, so arrive early. All
right, no doubt about it, and that carries on throughout the rest of the holiday season. Sally, thank you so very much for joining us today. Sally French, I appreciate it, and we'll find out more information online through nerdwallet.com, or, listen, just do your homework. Hopefully you save some money along the way and have a safe and enjoyable travel.
Yeah, great interview. I really like some of the insights there. I'm going to try some of those myself. Okay, so electronics, we know those are the #1 thing that people shop for during the holidays, right? Well, Environment Texas and US PIRG have issued their annual guide to help you find reliable refurbished products to help you save money and help save the environment. So here's how the prices stack up. Let's say you bought new electronics during the Black Friday sales. You could save an average of 31%, according to Adobe. But consumer advocates at US PIRG want you to think about buying refurbished tech instead, saying you can expect to save 20% plus another 10% for each year. So a 2-year-old product could actually save you 40% or more. And they say buying refurbished means that product should work just as well as it did when it was new.
For all of the refurbished marketplaces that we recommend, folks are doing quality control, and they're making sure that you have a warranty period as well. So we recommend buying from stores that have at least a 90-day warranty period, at least a 30-day return policy.
Yeah, so there's big savings there. And the Fixed for the Holidays guide, it has info on how to find reputable sellers, what types of items are good buys, which ones are not, those that really can't be repaired. They let you know that. They also have some good questions to ask when you're buying. So I put a link to that on Sullivan's Smart Sense on fox26houston.com. Now, many shoppers are about to hit click to have their holiday gifts delivered, and of course the porch pirates are all ready to pounce. So Amazon is offering some tips to help keep your purchases safe from thieves. They say you should get that photo proof of your delivery. They'll send it to you when they deliver, and you can specify a hidden drop-off location, such as behind a planter box. Or you can select an alternate delivery location, like where you work, or maybe a neighbor who will be home, or one of Amazon's package pickup locations.
You'll be able to track your package with our map tracking feature so that you know in real time where that package is. And for our Amazon Prime members, you can also designate a day that might work best for you. So if you're not going to be in town, or if you're going to not be home for a few days, you can make sure to designate that as the time that you want those packages dropped off.
And if your package is stolen, you want to report it right away to the sender, the company that you bought it from, and to the police. And Amazon also asks that you leave a porch light on in the evening so that drivers can see where they're walking. Now, Dollar General stores, they're launching same-day delivery service. The new DG delivery service will be available at limited stores this holiday season. DG Delivery allows customers to use digital coupons, earn cash back, in-store prices, and fast service within an hour. The store is working with a third-party provider to deliver the service. Well, the murder of the United Healthcare CEO, with some speculation that it may have been over denied healthcare claims, is really putting a new spotlight on this issue. Reports show that health claim denials can range anywhere from 17 to more than 30%, depending on the company. Yet very few patients actually appeal, leaving them without the care they need or high medical debt, despite having paid for insurance. So we asked a patient advocate for some ways that you can turn a denial into a paid claim. There's no way to know what percentage of health insurance claims are denied. Insurance companies are not required to report it. Patient advocate Adria Gross of MedWise Insurance Advocacy says it can devastate a patient's health and finances.
It seems to me, look, we pay the money, and if there's any way that they don't have to pay that money out, they're going to do it.
Gross says start by checking your policy. If your care should have been covered but is denied, you have the right to appeal, often 2 to 3 times, depending on the insurer. Find the reason for the denial listed on your denial letter or call the insurer. If it's listed as not medically necessary, ask your care provider to write a letter outlining why you needed the treatment. You may need to provide documentation or records supporting your claim. In some cases, you can submit peer-reviewed articles or treatment guidelines from recognized medical organizations.
You've got to get the medical records. You have to find out the reason why you were even placed in the hospital to begin with. And I really recommend that you have your doctor or whoever took care of you at the hospital, or even your primary, why it was that you went to the hospital and you needed the care.
Be sure to file appeals before deadlines, usually listed on denial letters or your explanation of benefits. Then send your appeal package via certified mail so you get a receipt that it was received. And no matter what,
don't ever give up. Fight for your rights. You know, you pay for your insurance and you have a right to be covered on your policy.
And you really may want to get help from a health advocate or a patient advocate. 2 nonprofits that can help you find one are the National Patient Advocate Foundation and the National Association of Healthcare Advocacy. If your appeals are denied again, you can also turn to the State Department of Insurance and the State Attorney General's office. Be sure that you keep copies of all documentation, all correspondence throughout the whole process. And of course, you can also hire an attorney if you need to. Now, President-elect Donald Trump is taking office in January, and from immigration to tariffs, he's made a lot of promises about what he plans to do starting on day one. Well, as Dave Kinchin with Fox 2 in Detroit explains, some predict there will be a surge in vehicle sales even before Trump starts his term.
For the month of November, our sales almost doubled here at our store.
Auto sales have been booming for dealerships like Zott, I-96, Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, Ram in New Hudson, exactly 1 month after a presidential election settled months of uncertainty in the car and truck market.
Pre-election, I think there was some anxiety. Some people didn't know what was going to happen, and it's definitely picked up.
But will that continue? That's the big question. Research firm Cox Automotive says buyers are taking action now because of unknown regulations that might be put in place under soon-to-be President Donald Trump, who pledged to implement some form of tariffs on imports after taking office on January 20th.
There's some uncertainties on what might happen, but I'm thinking that things are going to get better. That's my feeling, and that's what I think a lot of people are feeling right now.
The feeling is the same over at Brian Carroll Automotive Group.
You know what? I think that it's going to affect us here. And again, if he puts them in place, I'm not sure if he's going to or just using that as a leverage in order to get everything back to norm, you know? So, yeah, well, I guess we'll have to wait and see on that. But if he does, I'm sure the prices will be going up because somebody's got to pay for it.
For now, though, he says he will stick with the good stuff that he's seeing in the numbers.
I really got bombarded pretty good on the day after on that Wednesday with people that I guess they feel more secure, I guess.
And then there's the talk about the future of EVs and what will happen there with the new president and Congress taking office. In the meantime, of course, the Detroit 3, they're churning out hybrids. We'll continue to watch all of that as it unfolds. That, as they say, is the next part of the story. For now, in New Hudson, Dave Kinchin, Fox 2 News.
Thanks, Dave. Okay, if your student will graduate from high school in May, you're going to like this next story. Your family's likely already trying to figure out how to pay for college. Did you know there are grants, loans, and scholarships? We know about those, but did you know that about $100 million in scholarships go unclaimed each year? Yeah. Dana Fowl with Fox 5 in Atlanta shows us how Merit Aid Grids direct students to untapped college scholarships.
There's a new free service out there, and it is called Merit Aid Grids. It's going to show you available merit scholarship money. Merit means it's 100% based on grades and test scores, and we're talking about a wide range here, not just top of class.
The college campus experience is an American goal, but that comes with a price tag. Let's just take a look at the University of Georgia's website. Between tuition and fees, room and board, books, and living expenses, expect to pay $28,862 a year. That's more than $115,000 for 4 years. Some families can pay that out of pocket. Most, though, fill out FAFSA and CSS forms to see if they qualify for aid and grant programs. But here's where the middle class gets boxed out. They don't qualify for aid, but they also can't afford to really pay what's being asked of them either. Brian Euphinger and his wife own Edison Prep. It tutors students to better perform on the ACT and SAT. Doing this, they saw a whole lot of money being left on the table. So they've used their resources to add a free guide to the mix. This is called Merit Aid Grids.
The number given to them as far as what they're expected to pay bore no resemblance to what they could actually do without putting themselves in financial jeopardy.
Enter the Merit Scholarship. It's based 100% on scores, GPAs, ACTs, and SATs. Most schools nationwide offer these scholarships, but sometimes they're hard to find. So Merit Aid Grids finds the money trail. It shows you exactly what the schools on its site will offer. It lets you know quickly if you can afford the school that you're checking out.
Certainty of getting this much aid that makes it affordable, or certainty in that even with the maximum discount, this school is not financially feasible.
Because Georgia offers the Hope and Zell Miller scholarships for good scores, it doesn't fit so snugly into the formula. So let's say your child didn't get into the coveted journalism program at UGA. Mizzou, University of Missouri, is another big name in that field, but it's out of state, so that'll cost more. But look at this. Look at the merit scholarship opportunities.
1130 SAT or a 23 ACT with as low as that, which is the top 37% score, you can get from Mizzou 34 grand across 4 years with just a top 37% score. And if you can get to a top 12% score here in the dark gold, you can get 84 grand of after-tax dollars.
Auburn, with a 3.5 GPA and a 29 ACT, will offer $7,000 a year in scholarships. Much of the Southeast shows big financial opportunities on the Merit Aid Grids.
Auburn has one, Tennessee has one, Alabama has one, Utah, Wyoming, Michigan State, Mizzou. There's tons of schools that are flagships.
Here's something else. Let's go back to Mizzou's chart because it's so clearly laid out. You can see how much improving your score will save money by getting you more scholarship cash.
Someone here is sitting at a 27 and a 3.9.
At a 3.9.
And they want to save.
That's still really good.
That is, and they want to save their mom some money. 27 versus a 30 is roughly 20 questions out of the 215.
That you need to improve
on the ACTs. And you save mom almost 50 grand of after-tax money. Each question's literally worth $1,400.
Now, these are scholarships offered by universities, but private companies will tell you year after year they have to return some of their scholarship money back to the kitty because folks, young people, are not claiming it. So get out there, do some research, because again, if there's $100 million in scholarship money left on the table, that is a shame.
But you never thought about those test questions in that light before. I didn't either. Okay, so the big question these days, is TikTok going to be banned in the United States? It's a question that many content creators and consumers want to know. A court just upheld the ban, demanding that the China-based company sell to someone else. Well, Fox 26's Jonathan Mejia takes a look at how this recent court decision could impact the app's future.
So you recognize this app. It's TikTok, and you may find yourself scrolling for hours scrolling. But come the new year, things may change.
I believe this is going to be very difficult for TikTok to overcome. And we are going to see TikTok fading away in the United States.
TikTok's future in the United States is uncertain after a federal appeals court rejected a challenge to a law that requires the app to cut ties with its China-based company or be banned by mid-January.
What I'm hearing within TikTok is that they don't want to give the know-how and the technology to an American company.
The U.S. government wants ByteDance, the parent company of TikTok, to divest its stakes. But if it doesn't and TikTok is banned, the impact could be huge.
I do hope it sticks around, but if not, it does give me some time to at least figure out an exit strategy and just trying to pivot into a new space.
It's our 8-year anniversary and we're about to drop some moolah.
Mark Waits is a private chef and content creator. He has a passion for food and started off sharing recipes but found his niche.
So I have a standard.
And reviewing restaurants.
I knew that it was going to be, I thought it was going to be more difficult, let's just say. But it really comes down to, from my experience, of just like the luck of the draw at the beginning.
Did I just drive 2 hours round back for a sandwich?
And once you kind of like put yourself out there and you get a groove of things, then it starts to become a viral thing.
Waits has been able to make money off the app. In addition to content creation, he's a culinary instructor and private chef.
Being able to, like I said, prop my phone up and just say, hey, this business is awesome. They make some great food. You should check it out. And then suddenly I get a message back from them whenever it gets viral, just saying, hey, because of your video, we have sold out of product for X amount of days or this amount of weeks.
Technology experts say content creators on TikTok may want to switch over to a new social media app so that their income isn't impacted. Reporting in the newsroom, Jonathan Mejia, Fox 26 News.
And we'll certainly keep you posted on what happens there. Now, you probably have your Christmas tree by now. Maybe you've got some poinsettias around your house. Well, how do you make them last? How do you keep them looking fresh throughout the season? Well, you get advice from Deborah Valentine with Fox News. That's how.
Decorating for the holidays isn't always cheap.
Noble firs are really nice because they're full, but they still have just enough room.
To help consumers get the most bang for their buck, plant specialists are highlighting several strategies to help give your live decor a chance of surviving through this season. For starters, when it comes to buying trees, you want to eye them for freshness.
Test the needles to make sure they're still flexible and not brittle.
And once you get your tree home,
cut off about a ½ inch on the bottom of the stem of the tree and immediately put it in a basin of cool water.
You'll also want to make sure your tree's stand can hold the proper amount of water.
A 7-foot tree might consume a ½ gallon of water a day for the first week.
Ensuring your tree isn't near heat sources like radiators, fireplaces, or wood stoves is also critical.
And a cool room tends to be better to keep the tree fresher longer.
Just like Christmas trees, where you position your poinsettias can also matter.
You're going to want to find a bright location, not direct full sunlight, but a nice bright window.
But while poinsettias have become synonymous with the winter holiday season,
these are tropical plants that will drop their leaves when they get exposed to the cold weather. The ideal temperature is 65 to 70 degrees, so around room temperature.
To help avoid root rot,
poinsettias get watered about once a week.
Meanwhile, horticulture experts are even working to dispel myths surrounding these potted beauties.
Poinsettias are not poisonous, so we don't have to worry about our children and animals.
Deborah Valentine, Fox News.
Good to know. And I like to leave you with something funny. Is any discount a good discount or maybe not? One shopper posted on Reddit that she was horrified to see the reason for her savings on her grocery bill. The 48-year-old said she received a senior discount. Well, 65 and up is usually considered a senior in the U.S. Now, the discount was only about $2, so it wasn't really a big deal. But some say she should consider it a win. Others say, yeah, they'd feel kind of insulted too. So would you appreciate the discount or would you feel offended? I got to tell you, I'm kind of on the fence about that one. All right, that's a wrap. Thanks so much for joining us. Drop me a line anytime on Instagram, Heather Sullivan, Fox 26. We'll see you next time right here on Dollars and Cents.